I want you to have a card. It doesn't matter which one it is, except that sometimes after this is done, sometimes people think, well, maybe you had a second deck of cards or something like that, and maybe you took that card from a second deck and did something with it. So whatever card it is that you end up with, I want to have you sign your name on it real large. So every time you see it, you know that's the only one like that we've got. Okay? So sometimes some of the lower spot cards are a little easier to distinguish the name on the card, but any one that you'd like, and sign your name across the face of it. A good choice, a good choice. There you go. And very good. Why don't you put today's date on there, which is the 28th, August 28th. Put 97 on there too. It's a really long trick. Very good. There we go. So now every time you see the 3 of diamonds again, there'll be no question in your mind. That's the 3 of diamonds that we started with. I mean, it won't wipe off. It won't transfer. Here's what happens. I'm going to show you my favorite secret. Okay, I got one over here. Yeah, secrets. That's where I keep it. Let's see here. Now, you know what that is, don't you, Dave?
A rubber band.
A variable tension gripper. Very expensive technology. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those cards and I'm going to lock them into a group just like this, making certain that your card is locked into that deck. Now I call your attention to the ceiling. How come nobody ever looks? You think I'm going to do the funny stuff when you look? I won't take the deck out of your sight. Give you a quick glance up at the ceiling. Okay, everything fine?
Yeah.
Your card wasn't up there, was it?
No.
That'd be pretty amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got your name signed on the face of it. But if I take that deck locked into its position, I toss it to the ceiling, one card only sticks. Is that your card?
G'day champion, how you doing? Welcome back to Murphy's Magic Saturday Sorcery. You know who I am, Zac Efron's doppelganger, Beau Creamer. How you doing today, my dearest of dearest friends? That's right, you just saw a performance from the one and only Michael Ammar. And you're gonna learn that very trick in just a second. But before you do, I do want to tell you about this week's giveaway. If you want a chance to win the Essential Magic Bundle, stick around till later on in the episode and I'll show you how to enter that giveaway. Now today's tutorial is from an excerpt from the world's greatest magic card on sealing. If you want to see more on this absolutely phenomenal release, make sure you do check out the link in the description below. Now I know you just can't wait to dive into it, so I will stop flapping my gums and we'll jump straight over to Michael so he can teach you this beautiful effect. Michael, take it away. Oh, look at these absolute champions. You guys are the best. It's true. I've Googled it.
I've been doing the card on sealing since about 1975, 1976. And I first discovered its capacity to generate conversations because I would do it in my college cafeteria. And these cards would accumulate around the ceiling of the cafeteria. And otherwise, over the course of the semester, I'd be sitting there doing other things because it was kind of a hangout. And I would hear other people talking about this effect as to how these cards could possibly be accumulating on the ceiling. And I would be at the table beside him and I would hear him talking about this amazing effect. And I grew to realize, hey, this is one of those things that doesn't just happen the moment the card hits. It happens 1,000 times. Every time somebody walks by and sees it again, their mind starts to conjure up, possibilities and scenarios as to how this all took place. There's a variety of methods out on the marketplace. Some using thumbtacks, some wrapping the bill around it so that the tip is up there with the card. And all those things are really wonderful. I wanted to have a version that I could do anytime on virtually any condition sealing. And I read in Magician Nightly, the card on sealing, as Carl Norman would do it. And he had this wonderful idea with the Secrets tin to introduce the rubber bands and the ball of wax. And I still use it today, here these 20 some odd years later. It is just wonderfully practical. Sometimes in a trade show situation, I may have to do this effect 30 or 40 times a day. And what I'll do is I can reasonably get 20 or 25 little balls of wax in here. In this particular case, you'll see that the ball of wax is just about the size of a pea. Now, if there's any one mistake that you don't want to make, and that's using too little wax. I like to use a ball about this size because if I toss it fairly hard, it's going to squash that ball fairly flat, and the card will sit fairly tight against the ceiling. You could, in certain circumstances, do it with even smaller, but I figure, why worry about using the smallest amount possible? Nobody's really going to be in on just how much you use. So the point is, use all you need. Now, you're going to run into a couple of ceilings where the texture of the ceiling may get into the way of that wax sticking. Like if it's a moist ceiling or a dusty ceiling. I did this once in a bunker, a World War II bunker that a Magic Club in Europe had purchased and turned into their Magic Club. And it was this circular brick ceiling, but it was moist in there. Couldn't get the card to stick because the wax wouldn't stick against something moist in that way. Drop ceilings, particularly very old, brittle, if there's the chance that rather than to have this stick against the ceiling, what might happen is that drop ceiling might gum up the wax and pull a little piece of the ceiling off, and therefore not only not sticking, but not allowing you to try a second time. In a lot of cases, if the wax is still good, if for whatever reason it doesn't stick the first time, you can have a second shot at it. But if that wax gets gummed up with fibers from that drop ceiling, it's not going to stick to anything. So when I find myself in that drop ceiling kind of a situation, one thing that you want to do is make sure that the rubber band doesn't overlap the selection too much. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. You want to make sure that the card just has enough underneath the rubber band to make it to the ceiling and not yet, hold it there. In some cases, if I know that it's an iffy ceiling, I might take 2 or 3 balls of wax out. And and then sprinkle them out around, so that really helps make sure that card's going to stick. The whole point, get the card to stick. Don't worry about whether or not you're using too much wax, because that's the least of your worries. All you have to do in this, and when I first started working on the card on ceiling, and really all I'm bringing to this is this means of very practically wrapping the deck with a rubber band so that the deck stays as a unit, and the card gets to the ceiling no matter how high the ceiling is.
Have you seen last week's free tutorial yet? Make sure you do. Card on screen right now, or the link is in the description. Make sure you check it out. It's an absolute feast for the eyes, and it's completely free. Go treat yourself. Now, I'm so sorry. I need to interrupt for just a wee second because I want to find out who won last episode's bundle. So, awesome ceiling pose, please. Is the lightning doing its thing? I don't know. We'll see. But either way, congratulations, champion. You're the winner of last episode's bundle. So, if you could DM me on any of Murphy's socials, I'll get that prize out to you quicker. You can say, hey, that lightning is super fast. Now, congratulations again, my friend. But if you do want a chance to win this week's bundle, all you need to do is comment in the comment section below, what deck of cards would you use for card on ceiling? Is it the Orbits, the Howlin' Jacks, Ristrettos? Is it the Cherries? Whatever it is, let me know in the comment section below. I'll choose someone out at random and you'll be announced on next episode of Saturday Sorcery. So, good luck. Now, champion, are you enjoying what you're watching right now? Because I have good news for you. In the Saturday Sorcery playlist, we have over 100 episodes, which means over 100 free tutorials. So make sure you go check out that playlist. There'll be a link in the description below. Go treat yourself to all that free magic, because you deserve it.
Gets to the ceiling no matter how high the ceiling is, because part of the card is underneath that rubber band. That's unique to this version, so that you can basically go on any height ceiling. And what you need to do, and in this particular case, I had the selection signed. I believe in this particular case, I might have just reversed the top card while I was talking to them. And then, as I'm showing that the ink won't come off their card, I just place it on top of that reversed card so that I can then do a double lift, do a double turnover basically, Place that selection apparently into the center of the deck. And now the selection is really back on top. You know, I used to think this was the perfect closing to an ambitious card routine because, you know, the card comes to the top, the card comes to the top, the card comes to the top. Now I'll put it into the middle, I'll rubber band it, and still it goes all the way to the top of the ceiling. But I don't do that very much anymore because I don't want them to associate this effect with anything coming to the top. When they think about this later, when they try to reconstruct what might have taken place, I want them to know, I want them to believe that the card was in the center. It's not an issue of where it was in the deck. It was in the center. So once you get that card controlled to the top of the deck, I turn the deck face up. And I'm going to, and then I use the little gag to go into the secrets tin. As I say, okay, it's secrets, that's how I spell it, same line, used by Carl Norman years ago. And I go in and I take out one ball of wax. I just clip it between my two fingers as I then take out one rubber band. That's a size 16 rubber band. And as I pick up the deck, I load that ball of wax onto the back of the card as I hold the cards in dealer's grip in the left-hand position. From here, you'll see the index corners of the cards. That's your marks. You're going to go index corner to index corner. So I wrap the rubber band around that upper index corner. I'm going to bring it down to this index corner. As I do, the left index finger presses against the upper right corner. That causes that corner to buckle down and away. It's a very simple maneuver that allows that rubber band to secure the rest of the deck while leaving that one corner out. Now this is the corner that's out, that you want to make sure is very firmly connected with that rubber band, so that it's really holding those cards into a block right there, so that it can make it to the ceiling. Now this is the band, this is the corner that you don't want to have too deep inside. If that's too deep, and if that should be a strong rubber band or a wide, thick rubber band that really holds that in, you actually have this the possibility that that corner could keep the card there. There's a lot of things. I mean, if the card doesn't make it to the ceiling for some reason, if air should get in between here and this falls off, you can throw again. If for some reason it doesn't stick, you can say, well, let me see what would happen if I used two secrets. You can go back and get another ball of wax and start over. But boy, if the whole deck just sticks to the ceiling, you're in a tough situation. I mean, there's not much that you can do if the deck doesn't come back down. So you don't want to overlap that corner too much. What you want to do is, I like it about right there. If it's not a really high ceiling, I might even cheat it a little bit more. So now, here's what it looks like. This little corner here, that rubber band is going to hold that card away from the rest of the deck just a little bit. So you want to kind of conceal that with your hand. You want them to clearly see that that corner is locked in. I cover the ball of wax as I show it all around. Now here's the simple method of throwing the deck so that it arrives to the ceiling flat no matter how high the ceiling is. You hold your gun into that little toy gun situation, okay? And what you're going to do is you just turn the deck face down, and it's going to balance on that right middle finger. The index finger wraps around the edge, and you're going to push and spin, okay? Now, with this push and spin situation, you can actually toss that deck higher, flat, than any other way that you can throw that deck. What you do is you kind of get under it, use your body, and you push up and spin. Now when it hits, what's going to happen is it's going to hit, that spinning is going to pull that corner free, leaving that deck as a unit and leaving the sign selection on the ceiling, for one of those effects which truly transcends the moment it actually happens. I can't begin to tell you how much mileage I've gotten out of the card on ceiling, and I know a lot of other professionals feel the same way. So if this is one of the things that you get from this particular set of videos, well, that's going to be a really wonderful thing. Arrange to lose the card. index corner to index corner, buckle, not too much, plenty.
Jiminy Christmas, was that gorgeous or what? Thank you so much, Michael. If you want to see more on this card on ceiling world's greatest magic download, make sure you check out the link in the description below. There's an absolute plethora of awesome magicians teaching their versions of card on ceiling. Now, my friends, I know it's Saturday, so go on, get out of here, go enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you on Tuesday for a special episode of Stumped, on Wednesday for another What's New This Week, or on our Discord for our weekly jams, trivia games, hangouts, sneak peeks, and even more. See you later, my friend. Take care. Bye for now. Whoa, hey, whoa, what's that? Oh, you should definitely check out that. Oh, there's so much good magic in there. You won't regret it. Hey, whoa, hey, look at this bad boy. You should definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, then watch that. Oh, it's a good day to treat yourself.